What do the library folks have to talk about? Got it.
I should be on, but I don't see myself. Here we are. Nope. Ed's running it. Yep. There he is, upside down. Hey, Ed. You're on mute.
That better?
There you go.
All right. All right.
Yeah, we need 2 other selectmen. Hold on.
Oh, bear with me tonight. In the last half hour, I can't stop sneezing. I think I'm coming down with that cold that everybody's getting.
You can keep it. I don't want it.
I know. Now, my stern man's got it, and I was staying away from him, and then we had to replace a clamp on my turbo yesterday, and I noticed I was looking right at him. I was like, oh, boy. Oops.
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 Did you haul today?
No, I had mine it down repairing my manifold gaskets.
We there?
Hi, Mike.
Hey,
Oh, there he is. Hey, Mike.
what happened anyway?
I guess the library was on our Zoom account.
Well, yeah, well, we made some enemies with the library people. Probably.
All right, Pat is coming. He just had to close and reopen the invite.
That's what I had to do too.
There he is. You're on mute, Pat, though.
Are we ready?
Sure.
All right. I will call this meeting to order. The November 10th, 2021 Selectmen's meeting is called to order at 6:17 p.m. Our apologies for being late this evening. We had another entity using our Zoom platform tonight, a little scheduling conflict, but here we are, and I will keep this meeting moving as promptly as possible. So,
And Ed, we did have a request that we announce how many people are in
yes.
the meeting.
We have 5 attendees as I looked at the list.
Besides department directors.
Correct. Yes. And that's a very good thing to put out there for people. Thank you for reminding me, Lori. So item number 2, approve the October 28th, 2021 Selectmen's meeting minutes.
Second.
Alan,
Hi.
Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
and I. The approve of the minutes has passed. This is the public forum. It's a time for anybody to speak who wants to address the Board of Selectmen with any issues that are not currently on our agenda. Do we see any hands in the audience? Okay, moving on. Number 4, review of proposal from the Climate Change Initiative for a student study of the town-owned marsh off Langsford Road in Cape Porpoise. I believe Leah Lowry is with us this evening. You promote Leah to panelist if she isn't already up here with us. All right. Are you with us, Leah?
Muted.
Seems to be going around tonight.
Oh, there she is.
Sorry, it made me rejoin.
Oh, welcome to the meeting, Leah.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you letting me join you. Hope you feel better, Ed.
Thank you. That's just a cold.
So I sent in a letter for you guys to kind of look over. It's really nothing remarkable, but when I talked to Lori about it, she felt that it would definitely be something to bring to you all and just sort of have you guys know what's happening. Do you guys know where I'm talking about on Langsford Road?
Yeah, my family owns the property adjacent to it, so I'm very familiar with it.
So you're used to being out there. So you're used to seeing the
I have been out there when I was a kid. That was like Tom Sawyer and Huck Finnville for us kids. We'd find everything after a storm out there.
Awesome. So the kids have been, the high school students, as you know, right across the road on Langsford Road, the Kennebunkport Conservation Trust owns some property, some marsh over there. And we started, when the Gulf Mean Field Studies class started, they started studying the Phragmites patches that were on both properties. And we just basically have transects. I mean, you wouldn't even know they were there. When we come out, we find the little pole and then we put down a quadrat and measure the Phragmites that are on the property. And just to gauge, the students are kind of doing a study to see if the Phragmites are encroaching on the marsh or if they're staying steady. And so they've been doing that for 3 years. And this year we've started noticing the end of the marsh sort of getting undercut and is eroding away a little bit. And so the students were really curious about that and were wondering if they could do more of a study. And basically there would be nothing that you would notice other than we would probably put a few rebars in the marsh just to show where our transect line is so that when we come out, it's very clear. I can't imagine that they're up this high, and usually we tie a little piece of ribbon to it so we can find it the next time. The other things that they were talking about possibly doing, but I don't know that we can, they did talk about doing a photo station. So essentially setting up something that we could take a photo in the exact same place every single time we were there. I sent a link, or I put a link in the overview for you guys so you can see it's basically just a post with a little thing on top so that the camera stays in the same place. I don't know that we'll be able to do that, just judging what we want a picture of. We probably have to do that like out in the water, and I don't think that'll happen. But if we could, we would love to do that. And then basically they want to be able to have the opportunity to use this as a way to study the marsh and erosion of the marsh and like the possibility of living shorelines and what that could look like and that kind of thing. Truly just a study. The only thing they thought about doing that could be interesting is to hold community conversations and possibly invite community members to come and see what they're studying out there. That said, they also thought about a sign that just like, I don't know if you've ever been out on the trust properties, but like the learning trail has learning signs. They're, not very large, but they just have some information on them. And so they thought if they were allowed to do that, that could be really interesting to have a sign sort of somewhere that was not obtrusive, but to show the study that the students are doing and give more information to community members.
I have a question.
Well, Leah, if you could, I'm sorry, go ahead, Alan.
So you're going to put your rebar down mark with your lines, do you put a protective cap on top of the rebar so in case somebody were to trip and fall, they wouldn't fall on the bar itself? Do you do that?
No, I mean, they're only up like an inch, but we could probably do that if we were requested to do that.
That's the only point that I just wanted to make. I've seen, they make these protective caps, so if you were to fall down, you wouldn't be stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great suggestion. And I don't think anybody's opposed to that.
Yeah, and they'll make it easy to locate because they're very bright colored.
Yeah, they're yellow.
Yeah, well, they come in all different colors. But Leah, to the point of the erosion, you're absolutely right, because my father and I were talking about it on our property, and he said when he was a kid, the marsh on the inner cove extended out a great deal. He told me where his grandfather's fish house used to be, and that the marsh went all the way to it, and now it's just a pile of rocks where the fish house used to sit.
Yeah. And so essentially they want us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I actually have photographs of my grandfather. I'm looking at one right now, except the tide is up. My grandfather was taken in 1915, and he's playing with a little boat, and you can see his father's fish house.
So,
there.
Ed, I'm sending students to interview you.
All right, well, you should talk to my dad, but he's kind of grumpy. But I'd be happy to talk to him, Leah. I think that's important, and I think I know where a lot of the erosion is coming from, and it would be interesting to have a discussion about that.
Yeah, I just think they want to open up the discussion and really help be a catalyst for community members to understand how important that marsh habitat is for our community, not just for the buffer from the water, but also because, as you guys who are fishermen know, that's a nursery for all of our important species. So we want to make sure that we can protect that. And they're studying living shorelines and possibilities of that. So they just want to look at that, and they'll do like their analysis of the marsh to see whether or not it would even be available, and they want to study it and keep a tab on it. But big thing was they wanted to be able to hold community conversations and possibly do a field trip with community members to the marsh and that kind of thing. And they'll do a poster show. Of course, all of you all would be invited.
Well, reach out to me when they get started. I'd be happy to, see what I could do to help.
Wonderful.
I'm in favor of it. I think it's a great idea.
So do I have are you done, Leah? I don't want to cut you off.
No, I want you guys to move on.
Okay, so Alan, you said a few things. Pat, Mike, do either of you have anything to add?
No, it's good for me.
Do I have a Mike?
Yes.
Yes. Do you have anything to add, Mike?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
I'll make a
Do I
motion.
have a motion?
Make a motion to authorize KCI and KHS students to continue to study the marsh on Langsford Road.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and I have a second. Pat,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
and I say aye. The motion passes. Thank you, Leah.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, moving on. Item number 5, approve $500 request to fund phase 2 of the Kennebunk area response to substance abuse disorder. This money would come out of our Selectmen's contingency. Lori, did you want to speak to it, or did you want me to talk?
Well, I thought Chief McKenzie was going to be here tonight. I don't see him in the audience. However, you can see by the letter in your packet that he is requesting $500 from each of the 3 towns in order to continue phase 2 of this important work dealing with substance abuse in our communities. The total cost for phase 2 is $18,000. He has been able to secure funds from local businesses and organizations. And so then he is requesting $500 from Kennebunkport to Rundle and the town of Kennebunk.
What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Pat,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
I say aye. Motion passes. $500 to help people with drug abuse. Okay, item number 6, update on short-term rental licenses. I believe Werner and Eli, one or the other, are in the audience this evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey,
Good
Werner.
evening, Warner.
How are you? So I have Eli Rubin with me this evening. For those of you who haven't met Eli, Eli is our new community planner. He's been, dare I say, engulfed in in the rollout of the short-term rental ordinance and licensing piece. So two things that we'd like to do for you this evening. One is that we'd like to show you a short little tutorial video that April and our office put together that will be going on the website just to walk people through the process. And then after that, Eli has a couple of updates in terms of stats, telling you how many licenses that we've gotten in so far and just how that process has been going. So if you all are good, I'm going to go ahead and start this short little video here for you.
Take it away, Warner.
All right. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
All right.
I think the volume might be off.
Yeah. Let me see what I can do here for the volume. So let's do this. Eli, why don't you go ahead and jump in and give the update info, and
Sure.
I'll work on getting the volume squared away here. So
Sure. And it may be, I think in the share screen menu, there's an additional checkbox to share audio.
okay,
That might be something, but
I'll take a peek at that. So, but yeah, why don't you go ahead and give the update info?
sure. Yeah. So because we get so many calls in that are similar, we thought we'd kind of share some of the highlights, some key points to aid in clarity around the ordinance implementation. So it's about 6 or 7 things, and then I can tell you a little bit about where we're at with reviewing the applications. So number 1 is that Goose Rock Speech is not exempt from the short-term rental permit and will need to apply by December 31st to rent in 2022. Beginning in 2023, any potential future caps on short-term rental permits will not apply to the properties in the Goose Rock Speech neighborhood. Number 2 is there are no defined eligibility requirements yet for renting in 2023 and beyond. People who purchase homes or wish to begin renting short-term in the future will have the opportunity to apply for a permit each October for the subsequent year. However, potential future caps may limit the total number of permits issued in a given year. Number 3, properties purchased in 2022 will only be allowed to rent short-term if the prior owner had obtained a permit. And this includes the Goose Rock Speech neighborhood. Number 4, to be eligible for a permit, the required proof of rental history must be of the applicant and not that of a past owner nor property manager, even if they will continue to manage the property. Number 5, when you actually are submitting your documentation for the application, a professional plot plan is not required. A hand-drawn and to scale plan is fine, or a plan can be done from the town's GIS website, and we're going to see that in the video in just a moment. Number 6, fire alarms are required in every bedroom and outside each sleeping area and should be noted on the floor plan, the floor layout. And finally, the ordinance defines short-term rentals as less than 30 days. And with sincere apologies, the letter that residents received mistakenly defined short-term rentals as 30 days or less. So just to clarify, the ordinance defines short-term rentals as less than 30 days. We opened the portal on last Friday, and we have just over 100 registrations that are awaiting review. We started reviewing applications today and have gone through about a little less than 20. For the most part, if it's very straightforward and if all the documentation is included, it can take as little as 10 minutes, but it really depends on the type of documentation that was given. Sometimes people maybe mistakenly upload 70 pages of sewer bills and not just their own. So as best as you can, try to upload just the information that's required, and we will process it as soon as we can. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer questions before we watch the video too.
All right. Great. Thanks, Eli.
Thanks, Eli.
I'm going to
Thank you.
give this another shot here.
Do you want to see if Eli is able to do it?
That might work best.
Make the new guy do it. That's a good idea.
Yeah, do you want to give it a shot?
Apologies for that.
Yeah, I've got it queued up. I can see if my system's working any better. Give me just a moment.
I'm going to show you how to apply for a short-term rental license registration. As you can see on the home page, we have an access button here for short-term rental license registrations. If you click here, it will bring you to the first page of the application process. You may also go to the departments, code enforcement and planning, click on short-term rentals. Here you will see the button to submit your application, as well as additional information which will assist you in gathering the paperwork that you will need in order to upload to the application. So here we're going to register for a new short-term rental license. Next year, you will be renewing an existing short-term rental license. Today, our role is going to be the owner. If you're the property manager, you would select, I am a property manager. For the purpose of this tutorial, I have already pre-filled some information. Here, you will see I have proof of my prior rental history. I have my floor plan. I have a copy of my HHE 200 form for my septic. If you are on town sewer, you will be adding your sewer bill, as well as my parking plan. Then we're going to put in our Vision ID. If you are unaware of what your Vision ID is, click here. This is going to bring you to our GIS maps. You're going to search for your property. Click on the picture. And if you look here, documents and links, view your property card. Also, your parcel number is here as well, 3507. You can also find your Vision ID or parcel number here as well, 3507. So I put in our Vision ID number, 3507. Then we're going to hit next. As you can see, it pre-filled in my address, so it is recognizing your address. and your Vision ID is correct. Does a rental property you are registering have a unit number? In this case, no. What is your first name and last name? What is your mailing address? So here, if you have a P.O. box, please enter that. What is your phone number? Here, we would prefer that you put in your mobile phone number. That way, it's easy if we need to contact you via text. What is your email address? Are you using a property manager? If you are not, click no. Here, yes. What is the property manager's first and last name? Susan Smith is our property manager. What is the property manager's mailing address? Again, if she has a P.O. box or he has a P.O. box, please enter that here. What is the property manager's mobile phone number? Again, we prefer to have mobile device information. What is the property manager's email address? Please confirm or update the 24/7 emergency contact name. If you are going to be the emergency contact, this is correct. Your information, put your name. If it is another party, if it's going to be the property manager or someone else that you have hired to maintain your property, please enter that information here. And then here, you're going to confirm the 24/7 emergency contact mobile phone number. What is the number of bedrooms in the property? Here we have 2. What is the number of parking spaces? Here we have 2. What is the maximum occupancy in the property? Here we have 6. Now, just a reminder, the maximum tenant occupancy of a short-term rental shall be limited to no more than 2 tenants per bedroom, plus 2 additional tenants total for the entire dwelling unit. Here you're going to enter in the URL address specific to your property. If you post your property on Airbnb, Flipkey, or one of the other ones listed here, there's also additional listings as well. What you're going to enter here is the URL address specific to your property. For this purpose, I did not have a URL address, so I opted out when I originally applied for the application. For you, you will see a URL spot here that you're going to enter your URL in for each listing. Then here, this is where you're going to upload your documents. Again, I have already uploaded the documents that I needed. You are able to upload the documents either in a PDF format, and there's some other formats here, or if you've taken a picture of the documentation or a picture of your parking spot, you can take a picture and upload the picture here. So I've uploaded all of my information. I hit next. Then you're going to certify that you have read the Good Neighbor Policy. If you have not read the Good Neighbor Policy, please click here and it will bring up the policy for you to review. Once you have done that, you're going to certify that you've done that. Also, you're going to certify that you have not engaged in any transfers of the licensed premises or been transferees in any transfers that are not permitted transfers under the ordinance. And hit next. Then here, this is how much you are going to owe. Our bedrooms were 3 or less, so it's $325. For 4 or more bedrooms, it will be $575. Here's going to bring you to the confirmation page. You're going to confirm that all of the information that you have inputted is correct. If for some reason you need to change any information, click here on the pencil and it will allow you to edit that information in that field. Here you're going to certify by signing, both printing your name as well as writing your name. So write your name here as best as you can do it. Hopefully you're better than me. And we're going to hit next. Here is where you're going to enter your bank account information. You will be able to make this payment via your bank account, or you can pay with a credit card or debit card. If you're paying with your bank account, you will need your routing number, your account information, obviously your name, and if you're a company or an individual. If you're going to pay by credit card, click here. You're going to enter your credit card information and hit proceed. Once you have finalized your payment, you will receive an email notification indicating that your submission has been submitted and that you will be contacted by someone in the Codes and Planning Department with any questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call at our office, or you can refer to the Codes and Planning page. Have a great evening.
Very good.
Pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us.
So we're not accepting checks, is that what we're saying? Paper checks?
Maybe in person.
So our preference, with this process has been to do this online. And so we're encouraging folks to do that as much as possible through through this online process. And with that being said, though, if folks have difficulty with it, we're here to help. We've definitely, we've walked folks through the application on the phone, and we've assisted folks in office, figuring things out as well. But again, it's our preference that folks, as you can see, it's a pretty straightforward process, to do all of this online.
And how do we assure everybody that our website is secure?
It is a secure platform. You should see that indicated in the address itself. The address indicates that it's a secure site.
And it is
A
a
little
third,
padlock on it.
it is a third party, does specifically payment processing. So it's not through the town website, and it's not through host compliance website.
Okay.
Any other
Yeah.
questions from the board?
No, I'm good with it.
Very good.
Well, Eli and Warner, thank you very much. That was very informative,
Thank
and
you.
I hope that folks that who see this at home will find it as informative as well. There weren't any hands in the audience. Every time I go to check on the audience tonight, it kicks me off this site, so I'm reluctant to do it myself.
Eli, good to meet you.
Good to meet you too, and hopefully in person before too long.
Welcome aboard, Eli.
Thank you.
I still owe you that trip around town, Eli. I'll be over to gather you up one of these days.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Take care. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say that, they've been doing a really great job. Staff has really jumped into this. Eli, April, Andrew, this has been a lot of work, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, and I just want to, I want to give a good shout out to all those who've been involved here. They've been doing a really great job with it. So thank you.
I've got to say, even I have been happy.
Oh, no. Mark that down, everybody.
That's
Mark it down.
saying something.
What went wrong?
Yeah.
Mark it down.
Okay. Moving on. Item number 6, update. Oh, wait a minute. We just did that one. My apologies. Item number 7, review North Street speed study. I believe the chief and Lori will speak to that this evening.
Set to go, boss?
Yeah.
Hey, chief. How are you?
Good evening, everybody. So in your packets, you have a letter and a response back from the state. As you know, North Street is one of our areas of constant concern because it's one of our main thoroughfares into town, in and out of town, for all periods of the year. So, speed and the traffic flow is a constant concern there. And folks have a lot of concerns, with the pedestrian traffic and things of that nature. So back in 2019, June 5th to be specific, I wrote the state out of concern of the area to ask them to look at the area to see if they couldn't adjust the speed limit signs, to drop the speed limits. And we finally got word back from them that they've completed their traffic study and they've decided to actually increase the speed limit in that area, starting at Mill Lane, heading out of town all the way to the Arundel line on Log Cabin Road near Arundel Road. The state, how they do this, the state looks at all the data, crash data. So when we handle an accident anywhere in town, we have to input a traffic accident into our CAD system that gets uploaded to the state. The state uses that information as well as their own traffic counts. A lot of us have traveled on roadways and we've gone over those little tubes, and basically what those tubes are doing is they're counting traffic and they're measuring the speed of traffic. And they use an 85th percentile when they're measuring traffic and speed to see how traffic flows. They look at traffic accidents and congestion and all of those things to make the determination. And we all know that North Street is a state road and the state has control of setting the speed limits in the state of Maine. And they have decided that 30 miles an hour is appropriate for that location. I know a lot of folks in the area and a lot of citizens of town don't agree with that, but we finally got a response back that we have to change those signs on North Street, and we even have to remove the 25 mile an hour markings that are actually in the street in North Street. We have to accomplish that. I just wanted to give folks an update to that because ultimately we did reach out to the state, and that's their determination from the folks that do this stuff. I did see on the Maine DOT website, there is a spot there that specifically deals with speeding complaints and things of that nature. And it actually has a little video on how they do their traffic determination. So, folks have questions about that. It goes in a little bit more depth. Again, it's on the Maine DOT website under speed. And I would encourage folks to go there to try to get, any more detail questions they have on how the state actually comes up with these speeds. Ultimately, we just don't have the accidents there that folks perceive that we have there. And they feel that that's the safe speed that folks can travel in that area.
So we have no choice but to change it back to where it's supposed to be.
Correct, because the state does control the speed in that area, and in Maine towns and roads in that area, it is a state road.
Okay, when are you going to do that? Do you know, Chief?
We are supposed to do it immediately.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you for the update, Chief.
Yeah.
Again, that's the risk that we run when we do this. I know it's happened elsewhere in town. We actually did one on North Street, School Street before I got here, and they actually increased the speed on School Street. So whenever we do that, we run that risk that they could actually increase the speed. So
Did we ask for the study?
yes, I asked for it June 5th of 2019, sir.
Okay.
Glad to see they got right on it. Oh, well.
Right.
Oh, well. Well, unless there's any other questions, thank you very much, Chief Sanford.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Any other comment from the board?
Can we just bring Werner up for a minute? We did get a question
Certainly. Okay.
about how quickly staff will be responding and issuing licenses. And I thought Werner could give that response.
Sure.
Yeah, I actually just answered that one in the chat. But what we've been telling folks is that we're expecting within a 2-week time frame, that licenses will be issued. As we said, the better the information is, the quicker we can move through those. But folks should be getting a response, within a 2-week time frame from when they submit.
Thank you, Werner.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Number 8, award the salt bid for winter 21-22.
So we have Chris Simeone in the audience, and Chris is going to review the salt bid with you.
How's everyone doing tonight?
Good.
Hey, Chris, good to see you.
You too. So in preparation for winter, we've received the salt bids from the Southern Maine Planning and Development Commission. That's typically, where we do our cooperative buying through. There were only 2 responsive bidders this year. One was Mountain Salt and the other was Eastern Salt Company. The low bidder was Eastern Salt at $58 a ton. It's a difference last year of $4.47. It was an increase this year, $4.47 per ton. So based on the 2 bids that we had to choose from, I would recommend that the town accept the bid from Eastern Salt Company of $58 a ton delivered.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to award the salt bid to Eastern Salt for $58 a ton.
Second.
I have a first and a motion and a second. Alan?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
And I say aye as well. The motion passes. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Yes. Item number 9, discussion of FY 2023 budget goals. Lori, would you like to start us off?
Sure. So in your packet, you do have a memo. This is the time of year that we begin the budget process, and part of that process is after you adopt the budget schedule, that you give feedback to staff about your budget goals, so that we can do our best to implement those goals in the individual departmental budgets. So we are certainly open to hearing your ideas and what you see are the needs of the community. Some things that I did mention in my memo deal with the village parcel and the next steps that we might need to undertake there, including looking at potential zoning and land use, and developing partnerships to attract individuals with which we would work to develop the vision for the village parcel. Zoning amendments have been brought up, especially regarding density, and how that is impacting affordable housing, and with a comprehensive plan looking to be voted on in June, we will need to undertake the implementation of zoning to align with the comp plan. The police department is interested in moving forward with the accreditation process, where they will review our policies, enforcement, discipline, and ensure that our law enforcement agency is accredited with the best practices in the state and the nation. Of course, you know that we have aging infrastructure and equipment. And so maintaining that and having a healthy capital plan to address those capital needs is important. Town hall has been on the list for over 20 years. And so it is in a tight space. It has become more and more challenging to work efficiently and effectively here at Town Hall, as well as parking. We really need to undertake greater work towards united facilities management amongst town buildings. In the past, each department has been on their own, and we've been working to really consolidate our efforts there. Training with ever-changing world continues to be a demand for our staff. As always, we think it's important to balance the needs of seasonal visitors versus year-round residents in our community. Technology support and investment is important, especially the automation, as much as possible, so that we can keep pace with the ever-increasing demands. We've been talking over the past few years about the Maine Healthy Beach program and the water quality analysis at Goose Rocks Beach, and there continues to be a desire to increase the town's engagement there. Sea level rise, climate change, how we're going to impact infrastructure as well as public property, private property, what will our community look like in 2030, 2050, 2100? And then ways in which we can engage the communities to build a sense of community through community events and civic pride. And then we have been seeing those staff retirements that we predicted would be occurring. And everyone is very familiar with the labor shortage we are currently in. And word is that is not going to change in the near future. And so how are we going to fill these jobs in the future? And of course, communication, in the old days, you would post a warrant or a notice on the bulletin board or go down to the local store to talk to people, and communication has changed, and we need to communicate more effectively in many different formats in today's world, which has put an additional challenge to staff. And so it has become much more complicated. So those are some items that we have discussed internally and I have heard throughout the community and in your meetings. But, we're looking for feedback from the board.
All of these are so important that
Yeah, you've touched it.
every one of them, every
Yeah.
one that you've mentioned is very important.
So are we looking, Lori, we're looking for, I agree with what Alan said, they're all important, but we're looking to develop detail for each of these, correct? In order to do a budget?
We would have to fill in the detail, but
Right.
certainly we're looking for where you see the priorities are in particular.
I think you've hit them all.
Sheila told me that her priority was to not increase the tax rate.
No, come on, really?
That's hard to believe.
And I said that's always a goal that we have.
I think this is a pretty comprehensive list, and I
It is.
get that the devil is in the detail as far as the money goes. What do we want to do? But I think we're going to have to look for grants and so that, because my pet thing right now is, along with the village parcel, is that within 10 years we're likely to be underwater at downtown. And we've got to figure out both sides of the river. What are we going to do and how are we going to do it?
I agree with you, Mike. Those
Yeah.
two are very, very important. And and it's something that we need to start really looking how we're going to try to solve some of this.
And I think part of that, Alan and Ed, would be that somewhere along the very next few years, we're going to have to do something about raising the causeway.
Yeah.
No, the fishermen aren't going to be able to, whenever we have a high tide during the day, it's going to be difficult, Very difficult.
That'll be a drop in the bucket compared to raising Dock Square, but agreed, both will probably need to be done in some fashion.
Have to do something, yep. So that's what I mean, the devil's in the detail. We got to
Yes.
come up with it.
This is
Well, this is our
something-
first.
This is great. No, this is wonderful. Yeah.
We have talked a lot about these in one form or another
We have,
over the
yeah.
last several years, and we need to start, like you said, like Laurie says, we need to start planning on some of this. I know that one of my things is the village parcel. I would like to see us continue with that for sure. That's really important for now and into the future,
And we'll know more, Alan, when we get back the engineering study that we've commissioned. We'll know a lot more about it at that point, I believe. And Laurie's got a great outline for all of these things. It's just, like Mike says, we got to flesh these out.
There's some things that we can actually get our teeth into and do something about and move it. But some of this stuff is long-term.
Yep.
Well, they say nobody plans to fail, but some people fail to plan. So I'm glad that we have Laurie and we have these, capital improvement plan and extended budget plans, because that's how we're going to get to our goals.
It's the first step in a long journey.
Absolutely, Pat. Absolutely.
So Laurie,
Do you have-
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to ask Pat if he had anything to say
Uh,
to add to the
on
list.
this issue or on anything?
Just the budget in general. You know, Mike's spoken, Alan's spoken.
You know, I understand the pressures and we've got to be mindful of that. But let's see what the next reevaluation brings. There's always a possibility we'll get some breathing room, you know what I mean?
Hope so. Sure. And I've spoken to Lori today, and you know, we went over this list in her office as we prepared for this meeting tonight. And you know, I'm pretty much in concurrence with the three of you that you know, village parcel is very important. Addressing climate change is important, and you know, myriad of these other issues that are listed here. But you know, this is a good place to start, and we can work our way forward from here.
Right.
Yeah. Lori, do you have anything else to add before we move on?
No, I would just say, you know, we will share with department directors that these, you know, are hitting the highlights of your needs. If you think of something, please let us know sooner than later, because what tends to happen is we go through the budget process and then we get it passed and then people start percolating new ideas. And I say, well, that wasn't in the budget.
That's for next year. That's for 2024's budget.
So now is a great time to come forward if people have ideas.
Great. Thank you, Lori. Okay, let's move on to item 10. Accept the following donations from the Flynn Family Foundation. We have a $2,500 donation to the Emergency Fuel Fund, a $5,000 to the Emergency Food Fund, and if those two weren't generous enough, we have a $12,500 donation to the Nurses General Account. The board's pleasure, please.
Make a motion to accept the I guess it comes to a total of $20,000 from the Flynn Family Foundation.
I second that, and I think it's important that everyone in town understand that the Flynn family has been generous to this town for a number of years, exceedingly generous.
Exceedingly generous.
And these are very critical areas that we need to make sure we have enough money for this coming winter. And I had an opportunity to thank two of the young women. I say that given my age, Isabel and her sister Mary, yesterday morning. So I told them that the town did appreciate very much their thoughts, and they said, we want to keep it here in the town. So
that's very generous of them.
Very obvious. So thank you very much again. I have seconded it.
Okay, so I have a first and a second. Mike?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
And I say aye. We accept that that donation with much appreciation. Number 11, I have two donations to the Nurses General Account. $50 from John Crowder. I hope I haven't butchered his name. And $50 from Ben Stevens. Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept from $50 from John Crowder for the Nurses General Account and $50 from Ben Stevens to the Nurses General Account.
Second the motion.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Pat?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
And Mike?
Aye.
And I say aye, and we accept that with much appreciation. And item 12, accept a donation of $2,000 from Tim Harrington and the Resort Collection to the Public Health Operating Supplies account to help purchase COVID test kits. Again, another generous donation.
I make a motion to accept the $2,000 from Tim Harrington and the Resort Collection to the Public Health Operating Supplies account to help purchase COVID test kits.
I second that, and I think it's important that everyone in town realize it is very active right now. I know people personally who have caught it, and I'm talking about breakthrough cases because we've got a lot of unvaccinated young people out there that still haven't had a chance to get a vaccination. You cannot be too careful.
No. And in item 13, we're going to discuss that and an opportunity to rectify said situation. So I believe I have a first and a second. Alan?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
And I say aye, and the motion carries. And we thank Mr. Harrington and the Resort Collection for their generous donation. 13, other business. Alan?
None tonight, thank you.
Pat?
No, nothing tonight.
Mike?
Nothing.
Okay. Lori, I know you have something because it's on my agenda.
I wanted to make sure people were aware that Kennebunkport will be hosting a vaccination clinic for COVID vaccines and COVID boosters. So York County EMA will be doing this on November 17th. That's a Wednesday at the Village Fire Station from noon till 4 p.m. So you don't need to bring anything except your vaccine card and your ID, and so that they can update it. So again, this is for any one of the 3 boosters, as well as you can begin your vaccine dosage at the station as well. We are seeing an increase in COVID cases. York County is over 5% positivity rate. We are still testing people at our public health office, and we are seeing positive cases each and every day. And so please be aware that COVID is just as prevalent in the community as it has been.
Okay. Anything else, Laurie?
No.
Okay. And I would just like to say that tomorrow, November 11th, is Veterans Day, and I would like everybody to remember veterans. We all know some here in the community, and realize that we are the country and our community that we are today because of those veterans. And I hope that everybody takes a little moment to appreciate our veterans out there. And I'm going to start and say Happy Veterans Day to Pat, because I know Pat had a distinct career, unlike mine, in the United States military. And thank you for your service, Pat.
I was in the Air Force specifically, so, but I also want to thank my wife, Anne Marie, who was an Air Force nurse during the Vietnam War. So
Yes.
There's 2 of us here.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, moving on. Item number 14. Somebody would like to move the warrants.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Oh yeah, that's right. Alan,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
and I say aye. The warrants have been moved. And everybody's favorite, number 15, adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Mike?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you for your patience with our delayed start this evening. And I hope everybody has a happy Veterans Day and enjoys their day off if they get one. That won't be you and I, Alan, but everybody else.
I'm afraid not.
Thank you very much, Ed. Good night.
All right. Have a good evening. Bye.
Take care.